Today's Bellwork is another number puzzle. We get one clue at the bottom, and it tells us that the total weight is 40. So I'm going to write 40 at the top of my puzzle. Then I can look underneath this branch that goes across. That tells me that it splits in half perfectly. 40 divided by 2 is 20 and 20. I can look underneath the 20 on the left, and it also has a branch that says split in half perfectly. So I would put 10 and 10. Underneath the first 10, the circle, this one automatically is 10 because there's only one shape that says needs to equal 10 units. Then under my other 10, it is split equally in half, so I would put 5 and 5. The triangle now needs to weigh the value of that entire piece, so it's 5. I can come on this other side, and the triangle needs to weigh the same amount, so it needs to be 5. And because it's 5, that means this branch above it, these equally are 5s as well. Underneath the 20 on the right, it's split 10 and 10. Now, when I look at the rest of this puzzle and I zoom in, this section right here, 2 hexagons and 1 rectangle need to be 5. So I could either try 1s or I could try 2s. If I try something greater than that, it's going to equal more than 5 for the total string. So I'm going to go with 2s here and then put a 1 up here. 2 plus 2 is 4. Whoops. Anytime you have one number underneath a string, you want to subtract it, and then it splits equally. So if I did 5 minus 1, then I would equally split 4 so that it would be 2 and 2. That means these other hexagons are also 2. The one on the far right, it said a 5 first, and then minus the hexagon of 2, so the leftovers would be 3 for the oval. Then the string in the middle has a 10 at top, and then the hexagon is 2, so 10 minus 2 is 8. That means I need to split 8 equally in half, causing these to be 4s. Puzzle 2. This one says the total weight is 96. So I could put 96 at the top. And this one splits equally over here and over here. Half and half would be 48. This little shape right here means I have to subtract a quantity before I can split the value. So I can't just automatically cut 48 in half on this side. But on the opposite side, I can split 48 to 24 and 24. This strip over here on the left has 2 shapes adding up to be 24. I don't know what those are yet, but I can split the other 24 in half to be 12 and 12. One of the 12s can be split in half to be 6 and 6. Now we know the rhombus or the diamond is 6, and the opposite string also is cut in half equally. The 6 is split in half, so the circles are 3. Now, since we knew that this rhombus right here was 6, that means these two things need to be 6 as well. So I'm splitting 6. My next thing to do is to make a guess on what I want the square to be, because I have to subtract off the square from 48 so that I can start branching out on the right side. So over here in the center, it said 12, and then the square and the rectangle add together to make 12. So I need to think of a number that adds together to make 12, and it needs to be an even number because the square, I'm going to subtract the value of it from 48 and then split in half. We could do 4 and 8, 2 and 10, We've already used 6. So I'm just going to go with 8 for this and 4. Whoops, I'm going to change that back to be green. I'm going to try 8 and 4 at first. 8 for the square. See if this works out. 48 minus 8 is 40, and then split my 40 in half to be 20 and 20. When I look at this section of my puzzle, it says the whole thing needs to weigh 20. So if I do 8 plus 6 plus 6, that's 12 plus 8, which does make 20. So that means that's okay. Now I can split 20 in half to be 10 and 10. When you do that, the pentagon now we know is the value of 10. And then splitting 10 in half to get 5 and 5 for the ovals. The ovals are 5. Again, in the center right here where we had the 12 and we did 8 and 4, this rectangle is 4. So that means my other rectangle over here needs to be 4. And above it, the whole string should weigh 24 or be 24 units. So my leftovers would be 20 for the hexagon.